Today marks a very important day for the public service as a whole, as we launch the mandatory and compulsory courses, as the program director has indicated, that this is one of the deliverables that we are tackling that came out of the SONA of 2019. Both sets of programs that will be unveiled today advance the knowledge, understanding, and practice of values that are enshrined in the Constitution as well as other various prescripts. The other programs are also making sure that efficiency is improved and compliance, in a sense of making sure that there is professionalism. It's not the programs that will only be able to let us tick the boxes. As we launch these programs today, the Minister of Public Service and Administration has already called on all of us in this sector to ensure that learning and development we deliver is impact directed, and it addresses the findings that are presented by the Auditor-General and other oversight bodies.
At the outset, allow me to extend my appreciation to the management and leadership of the National School of Government for inviting me to officially launch the compulsory and mandatory programs to be rolled out by the National School of Government within the context of its constitutional and legislative mandate to train and develop public service officials. We are always guided by the Constitution and Chapter 10 in particular, which articulates basic values and principles governing public administration. The values and principles are a mix of compliance, learning, and developmental aspirations. There is an expectation that the public service should meet people's needs without fail. Government committed itself to build a developmental state that will address the socio-economic challenges and create a better life for all. The developmental state is thus an effort by government to build the nation, eradicate poverty, promote literacy, provide health and decent education, and then grow the economy in a manner that people are not left out, but are fully participating and become part of the solutions to their problems. In this regard, we need a focused National School of Government principal, ready to occupy the public sector training space, thus assisting government as it embarks on building a developmental and capable state to take the country forward on an economic growth trajectory. Indeed, we look upon the National School of Government to capacitate and professionalize the public service and public sector. President Ramaphosa, in the 2019 State of the Nation address, succinctly captures the crucial role expected of the NSG in relation to the delivery of a suite of compulsory programs approved by Cabinet on the 5th of September 2018 in order to strengthen the capacity of the state. I quote the President, the Minister quotes the President. In improving the capabilities of public servants, the National School of Government is introducing a suite of compulsory courses covering areas like ethics and anti-corruption, senior management and supply chain management, and deployment of managers to the coalface to strengthen service delivery. As we look ahead to the future of the school, it is important to reflect on the political mandates given to this ministry by the ruling African National Congress. The National School of Government must play a central coordinating role in capacitating employees in all spheres of government, provide support for talent management, and provide guidance for appointments, succession planning, and career development. This will require specific interventions such as the establishment of a national competency assessment functions, implementation of a public service-wide skills database, and policy proposals for the setting of compulsory competence requirements for certain occupational categories for entry or mobility within the public service. I am pleased to note that in preparation for the delivery of these programs alluded to by the President, the NSG has undertaken a comprehensive analysis of data drawn from the Auditor-General reports, the Management Performance Assessment Tool, MPAT, Results and Budgetary Review and Recommendation Reports, BRRR, of the various parliamentary portfolio committees. This analysis confirmed that most common issues affecting government departments could be addressed by the NSG through a range of targeted mandatory and compulsory programs. It is quite urgent that government departments are supported by the NSG to build public trust. The January 8 statement, 13 January 2018 statement of the African National Congress, among others, place emphasis on efforts to restore the credibility of public institutions. We have a huge task to institutionalize integrity, transparency, accountability, and responsiveness. The erosion of good governance and accountability in public institutions has to be addressed head-on. In this regard, the NSG suite of programs, which include ethics and a whole range of good governance courses, will greatly assist. The NSG is poised to be a catalyst for change and assume its rightful place as training, learning, solution provider for government that responds timeously to critical training needs and identified skills gaps. We appreciate the role played by the National Treasury in supporting rollout of the mandatory programs by providing an additional direct financial allocation to the NSG for a 3-year period. Cabinet has also approved the direct payment for compulsory programs to the NSG by relevant employing sending departments from their respective training budgets. I also note that the NSG has taken a decision to review its funding model and include the provision of the compulsory programs which are binding for all public servants to enroll and complete, as well as the mandatory programs which are aimed at identified government, departments, and public servants. It's important that for those who did not understand what is the difference between a mandatory and a compulsory program, that the minister defines it here, and you can listen again. I also note that the NSG has taken a decision to review its funding model and include the provision of the compulsory programs which are binding for all public servants. Compulsory programs are binding for all public servants to enroll and complete, as well as mandatory programs which are aimed at identified government departments and public servants, and are determined based on shortcomings in governance and compliance practices, as well as in enhancing leadership and frontline capabilities. So those departments that identify, or they can identify themselves, that they have problems, they now have an ambulance to call the National School of Government that can come and help them. And are determined based on shortcomings in governance and compliance practices, as well as in enhancing leadership and frontline capabilities. Furthermore, the support and undertaking of rapid capacity development interventions in leadership and management directly to government institutions in need in the provincial governments and administration, health sector, etc., and based on the identified national and provincial government priorities is appreciated. I am confident that if we continue on this trajectory, the training impact assessment that NSG plans to undertake in the next financial year will yield positive results. Ladies and gentlemen, the successful rollout of the mandatory and compulsory programs requires strategic repositioning of the NSG, including high levels of collaboration with national and provincial and local government departments and entities. Against this background, we fully support the NSG attempts to play a central coordinating role in the development of consulted and impact-directed national and provincial training, learning, and developmental annual plans. These plans should prioritize mandatory and compulsory programs and should be reported on jointly by NSG and relevant departments. We trust that this coordinated approach to public sector training will adequately respond to concern that the Ministry and FOSAT has raised in relation to the supportive role NSG ought to be playing in the context of skills gaps identified by various oversight bodies. I'm sure acting principal, you're listening. Your job is cut out here. We expect the annual training plan of NSG. We expect the annual training plan of NSG, the Minister directs, to reflect inputs from national, provincial, and local government department and entities. The current uncoordinated and unfragmented approach to public sector training is costly to the state, and its impact is suspect. I hope the specific delivery modalities and funding arrangements will be thoroughly discussed in workshop later today. It must be appreciated that the tight fiscal space we are in requires prudence and concerted efforts to do more with less, and more importantly, account for the disbursement of these funds. The allocation will be targeting departments in distress, whilst others will continue to use their training budgets to implement the joint annual training plan consulted upon with NSG. Allow me to wish you all fruitful deliberations today in the program with HR coordinators, HRD coordinators, and sectoral academies as the NSG further outlines the implementation mechanisms and payments modalities for the compulsory and mandatory programs, which are hereby launched by the Minister. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Round of applause for Dr. Cecil.
Cue you in.
Yeah.
Why not you just tell us the purpose of today, what is it that we're here for, and then that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3.
Today, the National School of Government was launching the programs that were announced by the President in the SONA address last month. The Minister for Public Service and Administration, who is in charge of public administration, was launching these programs. We are hoping that these programs are going to let public servants hit the call to improve service delivery. The programs, some of them are new, some of them are not new, but we have reshaped them to make sure that they do their purpose very well. We hope public servants are going to go through these courses, and in this point in time, we are collaborating with other partners, which in the past the NSG was not collaborating with, but was working alongside those partners. Also today, we have got all our 9 provinces represented. The academies in those provinces, the heads of those academies are here. And also where there are no academies, we have got chief directors and directors which deal with human resource development. So we hope the whole country is going to respond to this call by the Minister and the President to ensure that public servants are trained in how to be ethical, how to fight corruption, and how to deliver services, most of all, to the citizens.
Now, these mandatory programs and compulsory programs we support because they are going to help public service to improve service delivery, because our president has impressed on us about the importance of a developmental state, and we are not going to reach that level if we do not improve the skills of our public servants. We are in the process of already implementing some of these compulsory and mandatory programs. For example, the compulsory induction program and the executive induction program, amongst others. And we are very much in support of the NSG in terms of rolling these out on e-learning, because we believe that if we roll these out on an e-learning platform, we are going to have so much more reach. There will be a better throughput. We will be able to train more public servants through e-learning, because face-to-face has got its challenges of funds, of distance, and we know that we are operating in an austere environment. So we accept these programs because they are definitely going to help the public service in delivering services that our people desperately need and require.